Hi everybody, my name is Steven. For this week's chapter is covering chapter 11, managing conflict and negotiating. We're going to be covering what causes conflict, how does conflict escalate, de-escalate, the role of emotion in conflict, interpersonal conflict management strategies, and management styles. What is conflict? It is a disagreement through which two or more parties perceive a threat to their interests, needs, or concerns. It doesn't just have to be just at your workplace or your organization. Conflicts can arise at home as well, either in your at your house or with your family. It doesn't have to just be in where you work at. Different types of conflict. You have dysfunctional and constructive. Dysfunctional conflict can negatively influence employees, their performance, cause absenteeism, or possibly have turnovers within your organization, or even burnouts. Constructive conflict resolution can create a creativity level, adaptation, acceptable outcomes, and new alternatives and ideas. I would prefer constructive conflict resolution in my organization because it shows that both parties or all parties can adapt and overcome and accept the agreement and possibly create new ideas to make things better um, through the conflict, but also make it better for the organization. What causes what causes conflict was anything that can lead to a disagreement. Point period. The most common sources of conflict are differing task goals. It's what to be accomplished. Number two is differing process goals, how to accomplish the task or goals. Number three is interpersonal differences, differences in motivations, aspirations, or personality. Resource constraints, incapable needs, or incapable needs. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word right now. Five is change, uncertainty of change within the organization. Six is differing values, beliefs about what's good, bad, right, wrong, fair, or unfair. Plain and simple. Poor communication, lack of information, misinformed, interpret information differently among coworkers and employers. Task interdependency. One person or a unit is dependent on another for resources. An organizational structure is the last one. Conflict, either horizontal or vertical, which can result from structural or process. Of all those nine listed, I would say I can pick out three from my organization right now that they could improve on. Point period blank. They really need to because it's causing a lot of issues within our organization right now. How does a conflict escalate? Well, it's when one party is involved in a conflict. Individuals, small groups, departments, or entire organization first use an aggressive tactic or begins to using more aggressive tactics. There are ways we can de-escalate a conflict as well. Do's, you want to be an empathetic listener first and foremost. Focus your attention on the other person. Use delay tactics to create time to diffuse emotions. Control your body language. Stay focused on issues, not emotions. You want to try to, as a manager, try to avoid communicating hostility verbally or through body language, period. Creating a challenging or threatening or daring environment, raising your voice, blaming either party or saying anything that would cause the parties to lose face. And lastly, minimizing the situation or the conflict. You want to try to avoid you doing those things. Role of emotion in conflict. They define an individual's subjective interpretations of reality and reactions to current situations. Controlling your emotion and stay focused on the issues that can help prevent a conflict from escalating. Third You want to assess and acknowledge the emotions of the other party so they can help you and be more effectively, so you can more effectively manage the conflict. Interpersonal conflict management strategy. Um, as a manager, your next step is to choose the best method to handle conflicts in your organization. There's 5 of them. We're going to cover them. There's collaborating, which focuses on resolving the problem and develops an outcome for all parties. Compromising. This style is often used to achieve temporary solutions to avoid destructive power struggles. Competing is used when the conflict issue is important or to set a precedent. Accommodating is used when the issue is more important to the other party than it is to you. And lastly, avoiding is a passive conflict management style involving ignoring the conflict or denying that it even exists. That one right there gets a lot of people in trouble with avoiding the issue, just not even addressing it or trying to work through it in the organization. Avoiding it just causes more problems. Conflict management styles, there are 4 areas of skill development, which include listening, including eye contact, rephrasing, and summarizing what each side tells you to show them that you understand each side's position on the problem. Questioning, communicating non-verbally, and mediating. Next is negotiating. What is negotiating? Well, it's a process in which 2 or more parties make offers, counteroffers, and concessions in order to reach an agreement. 2 types of negotiating. There's distributive, which occurs under sub-zero conditions where any gain to one party is offset by equivalent loss to the other party. It is a win-lose for all parties, first and foremost. It is intended to be competitive and adversarial. On the other side, you have integrative, which is a win-win negotiation in which the agreement involves no loss to either party. It helps build long-term relationships and to minimize grudges between the parties. The 4 fundamental principles of integrative negotiation: separate the people from the problem, separate relationship issues or people problems such as emotion, misperceptions, and communication issues, and deal with them independently. Focus on interests, not positions. Negotiate about the things that people really want and need, not what they say they want or need. Invent options for mutual gain. Look for new solutions to the problem that will allow both sides to win. Insist on objective fairness and criteria. Outside the objective fairness criteria for the negotiated agreement are ideal if they exist. Alternative dispute resolutions. There's 4 of them. I put a graph up here. You can read through them as well. You have attribution, mediation, negotiation, conciliation, I believe is the last one. All 4, I put a nice little graph up there. It talks about all 4. But at the end of the day, you want to come to an agreement when the alternative dispute happens. You want to try to have both parties make sure they're agree. There's trying to bring them in from having any more disputes in the future with an organization. You don't want to have an environment where you can't be working in because you have an employee or employees who can't just be around each other or tolerate each other. It just creates an unfriendly work environment. And for the chapter question, I put up here for the conflict resolution. How do you deal with How would you deal with the conflict in the workplace? Was the conflict personal or professional issue? How did you handle it and resolve it before it becoming even more of an issue? These are kind of like behavioral questions that you'll get at interviews as well. But seeing and reading what we covered in this chapter and seeing what I've seen in my organization, it's enlightened me, how to handle and how to handle some more situations better. Um, I hope the information I provided has been beneficial, and I look forward to your comments and the feedback. Thanks.